Now at 9, tips to help make Independence Day easier for veterans with PTSD. Plus,
the Joplin Humane Society fireworks stand is helping make sure everyone can celebrate the 4th of July while helping lost pets find their way home. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
And we'll learn about a Fort Scott, Kansas restaurant named one of America's best.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Before firing up the celebrations for the 4th, you might want to give a heads up to the neighborhood's veterans. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
It's ironic because we celebrate the 4th of July. It's our independence, and in part it's a celebration of our military efforts to secure that independence. And so we all know a veteran, and we think as we're celebrating the 4th of July that it's going to be this really exciting and fun event. But for some veterans, it's not that. It reminds them of when they were in combat.
The loud booms and smell of gunfire can trigger memories or even post-traumatic stress disorder. According to the Ozark Center, 7% of veterans deal with PTSD. Jacob Hefner with the center says fireworks can rekindle painful associations. If the fireworks show becomes too much, he suggests that veterans with PTSD focus on less painful memories linked to the 5 senses.
5 things that they can see, 4 things that they can touch, 3 things that they can hear, 2 things that they can smell, and 1 thing that they could taste. And just by going through that process, they can take the anxiety level that they feel going up and bring it back down.
Hefner also recommends that veterans let their neighbors know if fireworks bother them. And he hopes all of us remember to be aware of the veterans who gave so much to make our celebration of independence possible. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The Ozark Center has resources for veterans dealing with PTSD. For information, go to our website, koamnewsnow.com. As July begins, fireworks stands are busy all across the 4 states, including some benefiting people looking for jobs. One such outlet is Joplin's Ford Center for Virtue and Work. Ford Center is a Watered Gardens Ministries program that helps struggling men develop virtue and a strong work ethic. Purchases of fireworks from Ford Center benefit the program.
Each one of these guys that comes into our program is coming out of chronic issues of homelessness, poverty, sometimes even incarceration. And when they come into our program, they commit to 16 to 18 months with us, where they are learning life skills, they're learning character development and preparation for job skills as well. And graduates who come out of our program are fully employed, they're off of all government assistance, they're active in their local church.
Ford fireworks will remain open until 10 p.m. on July 4th. Veterans aren't the only ones who can be triggered by the sounds of fireworks. Some pets are too. One stand in southwest Missouri is hoping to keep the holiday a little bit quieter. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on why one group is selling silent fireworks.
I like how they explode and you see it and it kabooms and then you're like, oh wow, that's amazing.
Fireworks are a beloved tradition during the 4th of July, with Americans estimated to have spent more than $2 billion on them last year, according to the National Retail Federation. But the loud noises that come with the holiday aren't a welcome sound for everyone, especially for animals.
It's all different for them, and they do get terrified. They don't enjoy the colorful things like we do, so you have to watch out for your 4-legged friends. Keep them safe, keep them in a quiet place.
To help combat the loud noises that traditional fireworks bring, the Joplin Humane Society is partnering with Pyro Pennies to host a silent fireworks stand. Along with the sparklers and colorful smoke balls, pet owners can also find relaxing dog treats to help calm their pets. For some customers, they say the boom isn't needed because even the silent fireworks can be beautiful to see.
I like those ones too, yeah, like the ones that just sparkle, it's amazing. Yeah, I love fireworks. They're very awesome.
Animal shelters across the country report seeing more lost animals in the days following the 4th of July than any other time of the year. The Joplin Humane Society is using proceeds from this stand to help those animals find their way home.
We lose so many pets during this time of year, so we're trying to raise funds so that they will be reunited with their owners. the Humane Society is already overflowing, and by the time we get this next influx because of pets running away from the fireworks, you know, it really is great to know that we can reunite them.
The Humane Society stand is in Webb City on West 4th Street. It will be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. through the 4th of July. Reporting in Webb City, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Joplin Humane Society says pet owners should try to keep their pets in a safe, quiet place when the fireworks are going off. Staff also recommend making sure your pet's collar and microchip has up-to-date contact information in case they do run away during the celebrations. It is only the 1st of July, but the city of Girard, Kansas, well, they just couldn't wait to get started on the celebration. Folks gathered tonight at the Crawford County Fairgrounds to enjoy the show. There were also some vendors and food trucks set up ahead of time.
I love coming out to these events. I'm a very bubbly, chatty person, naturally, but more so in these events. So I just enjoy coming out and seeing everybody. You know, I see people around town, obviously as a chamber director. You see people all the time. But this is everybody all together at once. It's one big family coming out to celebrate and just coming out to be together.
You can learn more about other upcoming fireworks displays around the area on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, hot outside for us today. Warm front kind of shifted back through the region, so temperatures went up as we got into the afternoon hours. 94 is where we topped out. Average high is 89. The record's 102 set back in 1980, and it's going to get hotter as we get into Tuesday. Still, we're sitting kind of 80 to about 86, 87 degrees across the region. If we factor in the humidity, we still have heat indices, 95, 96, 97 degrees on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Heat advisories in effect through tomorrow evening with those high heat indices during the afternoon. Had a couple little spotty showers that popped up this evening. Those are all gone, so we're going to be quiet as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We'll drop back to about 74, already back to 86 by 10 o'clock in the morning. Hotter tomorrow. We are going to be dodging some storms as well the next few days. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Catch you soon. Fort Scott's barbecue restaurant Brick Street was chosen as one of the best places to eat in Kansas by America's Best Restaurants. America's Best Restaurants Roadshow travels the country in search of the tastiest eateries to encourage more people to eat there. Brick Street hosted an exclusive lunch during the production of the episode held from 11 to 2 p.m.
Well, first off, because we are locals, we are born and raised here, we love this community, and then we continue to try to support and be involved in the community as well. And of course, the barbecue itself of why it fits into Fort Scott is because there's not another barbecue right now in town. And we really wanted to bring barbecue to Fort Scott and allow others to enjoy the barbecue food as well.
There's no word on when the episode on Brick Street Barbecue will be published, but when it is, you can view it on the YouTube page for America's Best Restaurants Roadshow. Today, the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks and the Carl Junction Area Chamber of Commerce teamed up for a blood drive. Donors were invited out to give blood and receive a $10 gas card as well as a limited edition beach towel. Event organizers say while there is always a need for blood, that need is even greater in the summer.
There is always a need for blood, and we never know what type of blood we need. But when it's summertime, people are traveling, they're vacationing, they're on holiday, they're off schedule. So the need is increased because everyone's traveling. Sadly, there will be accidents, but illnesses, cancer, heart treatments still carry on no matter what is going on. So we always need blood.
The CBCO is the sole provider of blood, platelets, and plasma to more than 40 hospitals in Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri, and Southeast Kansas. All locally donated blood stays in the community. Coming up, we're going to help you decide when to choose water or electrolytes to stay hydrated in the intense heat. Just in time to crash your summer plans, cases of COVID-19 are on the rise all across our country. Although individual cases are no longer being counted, the CDC says infections are growing or likely growing in 43 states. Infectious disease expert Dr. William Schaffner calls this time the summer bump that's happened every year since 2020. After years of exposure, he says our bodies are more prepared to fight the virus, but he still encourages everyone to take precautions.
Virtually all of us have had some experience with COVID in the past, whether through infection or vaccination or both. So what we call our population immunity is much better, so there are fewer severe diseases.
Updated COVID-19 vaccines will be available from Moderna, Novavax, and Pfizer later this year. The CDC recommends everyone 6 months and older should get vaccinated. It's a critical part of overall health. Proper hydration helps the body function normally. But in the summer heat, it can be hard to know how to best replenish what's lost in sweat. Mandy Gaither explains when to pick water and when to consider an electrolyte drink to keep you hydrated.
It's long been said to drink 8 glasses of water a day, but when it comes to hydration, one size doesn't fit all.
I always explain to patients that if you have a cup of coffee and a cup of water, those cancel each other out.
Dr. Matthew Anastasi with Mayo Clinic says an average person may need about 4 to 6 glasses of plain water a day for an average lifestyle. However, active people may need more, and as they sweat, may also need to turn to drinks that have electrolytes.
The more electrolytes you have in your body, the more water you can help to hold on to, and therefore it keeps you well hydrated.
Anastasi says the problem is that many electrolyte drinks also have things you don't want excessively in your body. That's why he says to check drink labels.
You may be taking in way too many calories, right? Way too much sugar, and you also may be well above your recommended dietary consumption of those substances that I mentioned. So I think as with anything, it's a balancing act.
Anastasi says choosing whether to drink plain water or grab an electrolyte drink should depend on your level of activity. For regular, low-impact, less intense exercise, he says plain water is sufficient.
But if you're going on anything more than 30 minutes in duration, or anything that's going to be very intense, I do think you would benefit from hydrational support.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says it's also important not to hydrate only after an activity, but also before and during the activity as well. Taking extra zinc and calcium 3 months before conception might help women avoid hypertension when pregnant. Researchers say the study at Columbia University highlights the importance of nutrition before conceiving. Hypertension during pregnancy can harm both the mother and developing fetus. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later a former Pitt State Gorilla is continuing his basketball career overseas. We're going to learn about his transition to the pros.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a hot one for us today. Temperatures way up there, most of us into low to mid 90s, and our heat indices were up there as well as they were climbing throughout the afternoon hours. Nice shot. This is our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin, 7th and Joplin Street, and then off toward the north and to the east through downtown. Look at our temps, still low to mid 80s. Upper 80s once you get into our western counties. Looks good. Here's 7th and Rangeline, 85 south wind. Still a little breezy at about 10 miles per hour, and it's going to stay a little breezy throughout the overnight hours tonight. But our humidity is high, dew point 70 to about 75, which puts us kind of at the top of that scale, that muggy to soupy range, and that's where we're going to sit as we go through the next couple days. So we still, after 9 o'clock, have heat indices well into the 90s, pushing 100 out across southeastern Kansas and also northeastern parts of Oklahoma. A little breezy tonight, still a little breezy for us tomorrow. Southerly winds kicking in, and then these will start to die down a little bit as we go into Wednesday. But on Tuesday, it is going to be a little bit breezy. Heat advisories in effect across the region where you see the little magenta. That is an excessive heat warning in northeastern parts of Oklahoma as, again, I tried to hold that in for like 30 seconds. It was just messing with my brain. All right, so outside we had a few scattered showers earlier. These are all gone now. So we're going to be pretty calm tonight. Any big time storms, these are out across parts of Nebraska and into the western high plains. But it's that system that's going to get a little bit closer to us as we go through the next couple days and into a little bit closer to the 4th. Tonight's fine. A drop back mid-70s, heat up quickly, lower 90s by noon, and then most of us 96, 97, 98 degrees tomorrow afternoon. We are going to be tracking some thunderstorms out to our west tomorrow night. So a few scattered storms will try to get in late tonight or late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. They're going to be pretty scattered, so it's not going to be a wall of rain. And then any that do form, we're going to see them sticking around through Wednesday morning. And then as we get into Wednesday afternoon, and just Wednesday, a lot of clouds and hit and miss showers through the day will keep our temperature down just a little bit, so highs into the mid-90s. Then Wednesday night into Thursday morning, additional rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Most of these are going to be along and north of Interstate 44. All right, day planner on your Tuesday, 76 in the morning, 92 by noon. High temp gets up there, 99 degrees. That means heat indices are going to be up there. Look at this, 105 to about 112 across the region for us tomorrow. On Wednesdays, mainly our southern counties along the south of I-44. Then on Thursday, the 4th, everybody has really high heat indices. So if you are going to be outside, drink plenty of water. Alert day tomorrow due to the heat advisory. Let's go 95 on Wednesday, 99 again on the 4th of July. A little bit cooler, so Friday, Saturday, a lot of people go to the lake over the 4th for a long weekend, so really temperature is not bad Friday and Saturday.
You know, if anybody started to doze maybe and left the TV on, your sneeze woke them up.
Yeah, I did.
They're back with us. We appreciate it. Thanks, Doug. Hey, it's almost time for another KOIM flag swap event. Tomorrow we're going to be set up at Arvest Bank at 2023 East 32nd Street in Joplin from noon to 1:30. You can stop by during that time to trade in your old tattered American flag and receive a brand new one absolutely free of charge. We're going to have 100 new flags to hand out. The old ones will be retired according to the U.S. flag code, as always. Millions of Americans plan to travel for the 4th of July. Coming up, we're going to tell you what to expect before you leave home. A new California law that went into effect today will require credit card networks like Visa and MasterCard to provide retail codes to banks that can be assigned to gun stores to track sales. Lawmakers in New York and Colorado are following suit. Some Democrats and gun control activists say the codes could help flag suspicious gun-related purchases. 17 states with GOP legislatures have passed laws limiting such codes or banning them due to concerns that gun buyers who have done nothing wrong will be targeted. Millions of Americans will be traveling this 4th of July holiday. Drivers can expect plenty of traffic on the roads and passengers should brace for busy airports. Jen Sullivan looks at the best and worst times to travel this week.
It's not just the fireworks lighting up this week. You can expect to see plenty of brake lights on the roads as drivers brace for traffic jams this 4th of July holiday.
It's gonna be busy out there.
AAA says nearly 71 million people will travel 50 miles or more this 4th of July week, with a record 60.6 million people driving to their destination.
Make sure you're prepared for delays no matter where you might be.
The worst times to be on the road are the days before and on July 4th between 2 and 7 p.m. The worst days to travel will be July 3rd and Sunday, July 7th. And with more people having the flexibility to work remotely, it means more people are leaving earlier in the week.
We're seeing a lot of those folks taking quote-unquote workcations where they may be extending it for a few days.
If you're flying, you can expect packed airports.
As an agency nationwide, we are going to be extremely busy for the summer.
Between Friday, June 28th through Monday, July 8th, the TSA expects to screen more than 28 million people. The busiest day for air travel will be Sunday, July 7th.
Get here early. Get here on time.
Weather is already wreaking havoc on travelers' plans, with many flights canceled on Sunday as storms rolled through much of the Northeast. And if you're heading south, Hurricane Beryl could impact your plans. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Canadian airline WestJet has canceled hundreds of flights after its maintenance workers union went on strike Friday night. The union says the airline is unwilling to negotiate a new deal. The airline CEO says the blame falls on a, quote, rogue union from the U.S. The strike came right before a long holiday weekend and Canada Day celebrated today in that country. Up next, a Miami Public Library program aims to give teens a lesson in the kitchen. The Miami Public Library Youth Department teamed up with the OSU Extension Office to kick off a tasty summer program. The Kick It Up program takes place every Monday at the library. This program features 30-minute cooking lessons designed for teens to learn snack and meal preparations.
I want them to see that being healthy isn't being super skinny, not even losing poundage, just being able to see being active, you're still doing something, even if you're helping mom around the house.
All supplies are provided for the lesson, and the program is absolutely free. The next class is going to be next Monday from 3 to 3:30. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Supreme Court hands down a blockbuster ruling on presidential immunity, what it could mean for former President Donald Trump. Plus, one of Donald Trump's former associates reports to prison.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Ahead of the Kansas primary in just over a month, KOAM is working to make sure you're informed about candidates for one of the most contested races on the ballot. It's the Republican and Democratic primaries for the 2nd Congressional District seat of Kansas. Now 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats hope they'll be their party's nominee for the seat. We sat down with all of them, asking questions about the economy, abortion, immigration, and more. They're all competing for the seat currently held by Jake LaTurner, who announced he would not run for re-election. You can find all 7 of those interviews in their entirety, unedited, on our website and the KOAM Plus app for your smart TV. The U.S. Supreme Court issued its ruling in the blockbuster dispute over whether former President Donald Trump may claim immunity from special counsel Jack Smith's election subversion charges. Julia Benbrook is in Washington to break down today's ruling.
Former President Donald Trump's appeal for immunity for special counsel Jack Smith's election subversion case landed at the Supreme Court late in the term, instantly overshadowing the rest of the docket. It's a case that not only impacts Trump, but all future U.S. presidents.
The Supreme Court ruled Monday that Donald Trump may claim immunity from criminal prosecution for some of the actions he took in the waning days of his presidency.
They gave the president far more immunity than I think many of us had predicted. And I think what's even more notable here is the number of questions that they left open.
The decision says presidents have immunity for official acts, but not all acts are official, and lower courts must decide which acts qualify for each. This will likely further delay a trial on the federal election subversion charges pending against the former president.
Jack Smith's federal case relating to 2020 election subversion, this now goes back to the district court, which has to hold a factual hearing to decide what was in the scope or out of the scope of the job. That in itself is appealable.
In the majority opinion, Chief Justice John Roberts embraced one of the central themes raised by Trump's team, that allowing prosecutors to look back at actions would potentially hurt a president's ability to do their job. The decision was 6-3 along conservative liberal lines. Justice Sonia Sotomayor did not hold back in her dissent, writing that the ruling could lead to nightmare scenarios. Let the president violate the law. Let him exploit the trappings of his office for personal gain. Let him use his official power for evil ends. Because if he knew that he may one day face liability for breaking the law, he might not be as bold and fearless as we would like him to be. That is the majority's message today.
The federal election subversion case is just one of several legal battles the former president is juggling while trying to reclaim the White House. In May, he became the first former U.S. president to be convicted of a felony after being found guilty in the hush money trial. Trump ally Steve Bannon reported to federal prison in Connecticut today to begin serving a 4-month sentence for defying a subpoena from the House committee that investigated the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Bannon made an emergency request last month after a federal appeals court rejected his effort to stay out of prison for contempt of Congress, but the highest court also rejected his plea.
I am proud to go to prison. If this is what it takes to stand up to tyranny, if this is what it takes to stand up to the Garland, corrupt, criminal DOJ.
A small crowd of supporters cheered for Bannon across the street from the low-security federal prison. Others in the crowd chanted, "Lock him up," and "Traitor." A bit later, what we know about the first named hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic season as it barrels toward the Caribbean.
Well, of course, a hot one for us today. It was hot over the weekend. Friday, Saturday was hot. Yeah, yesterday was much better, and then today creeping back up, especially in the afternoon. Here's a nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam. We're looking from 7th and Joplin Street off toward the north and to the east. A little bit of a breeze, and that's what we're going to see as we go through tonight and then again into the daytime hours tomorrow. It's still warm, upper 80s on the Kansas-Oklahoma side. Low to mid 80s once you get into Missouri, also northwestern parts of Arkansas. Heat advisory is in effect again for us tomorrow. Excessive heat warning down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We had a few little spotty showers that popped up earlier this evening. These are all gone, so heading out of here. So we look fine now for the rest of the night. Thunderstorms out across central and western Kansas. All the big severe weather staying up across Nebraska and then into the Dakotas. But that system is going to head toward us as we go through the next couple days. All right, mid 70s tonight. Let's go into the morning hours. By noon, lower 90s. By the afternoon, most of us 96, 97, 98, 99 degrees. So it's going to be a hot one across the region. We'll be tracking some thunderstorms to our north tomorrow night. Some of these will try to press in tomorrow night. Very scattered, but we are going to get some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms in here tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Then Wednesday, it's just kind of hit and miss showers, hit and miss thunderstorms throughout the day. So with the clouds, it'll keep our temps down a little bit. Most of us will go low to mid 90s. And then again, Wednesday night, thunderstorms again, mainly along and north of I-44, tracking through the region into Thursday morning, which of course Thursday morning is the 4th of July. All right, 76 to start. 99 is where we're going to top out for us tomorrow afternoon. If we look at our heat indices tomorrow, about 106 upwards to about 112. So if you are going to be outside, drink plenty of fluids. Even on Wednesday, northern counties, you get a little bit better, but still our southern counties, I-44 and south, heat indices well above 100 degrees. And then everybody, heat indices well up there again as we go into Thursday afternoon, which of course is the 4th of July. So let's look at that forecast. On the 4th, we are going to be dodging some storms. So here's the noon hour, 92, partly cloudy skies. By 5 p.m., 99, but we are going to have scattered thunderstorms during the evening hours. So we'll have to watch the timing of this as it is still 3 days away. And if we look at the 4th, you can see that here's a front that drops in, produces showers and thunderstorms. So here's 9:30, and then we start to clear out and we get cooler weather that filters in behind it by the time we head into Friday and also on Saturday. Alert day tomorrow due to the high heat index. Again, 105 to about 112. 95 on Wednesday, hit and miss storms. We're going to be watching for pop-up storms on the 4th, 99, and then clearing out and cooling down a little bit for Friday and Saturday for the holiday weekend.
Those pop-up storms can be tricky because you don't know exactly when or where, and that really affects your plans.
It looks like the evening of the 4th.
Okay. So. Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, the Thunder signed a new center on the first full day of the NBA free agency. Plus, a former Pitt State Gorilla signs to play professional basketball overseas. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. A former Pittsburgh State basketball player will be playing professionally overseas. Jeremy Shaw signs a pro contract with KK Alkar of the Premier Liga in Croatia. Shaw spent 2 seasons with the Gorillas. He played in 28 games in the 22-23 season, averaging over 6 points and 2 rebounds. Then this past season, the 6'6" guard and forward averaged upwards of 16 points and 4 rebounds per contest, starting in 20 games. Now, prior to PSU, Shaw played at Detroit Mercy and North Central Missouri Junior College. KK Alkar's regular season begins in late September. As the calendar flips to July, the final month of Mink League baseball is already here. The Nevada Griffins are in action tonight on the road. Now the Griffins in Sedalia, who has won all 3 of the earlier matchups between these two teams. So the Griffins trying to beat the Bombers for the first time this year. Things looking pretty good. Not over yet, but as we come on the air, Nevada holds a 9-7 lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. NBA free agency is here. It got started just over 24 hours ago. In the days since teams have been able to negotiate with free agents, several moves have been made across the league, which includes the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC signs free agent Isaiah Hartenstein to a 3-year, $87 million deal. The 26-year-old big man has bounced around the league since being a second-round draft pick by the Rockets back in 2017. From there, he went to Denver, Cleveland, LA, and most recently New York. With the Knicks this past season, Hartenstein averaged 7.8 points and 8.3 rebounds. He appeared in 75 games and shot just over 64% from the field. And he was one of just 3 players in the NBA last season to have 85 blocks and 85 steals. Plenty of other big moves throughout the rest of the NBA, one of those being Paul George signing with the 76ers. He signs a max contract worth $212 million over 4 years. George joins former league MVP Joel Embiid and All-Star guard Tyrese Maxey in Philly. The 34-year-old 9-time All-Star averaged 23 points and 5 rebounds per game with the Clippers this past season. Elsewhere, the Mavericks signed Klay Thompson, who had been with Golden State for 13 seasons. Thompson won 4 NBA championships with the Warriors, but this past season averaged under 18 points per game. That was his lowest in that category in over a decade. Thompson is 34 years old. According to ESPN, the deal was motivated largely by an opportunity to compete for a 5th championship. That's it for sports. Back with more news after this.
Beryl is the first hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic season and is now an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm. It's quickly gaining strength as it barrels toward the Caribbean and forecast to be the strongest hurricane to hit the region in 20 years. Rob Kirkpatrick has the latest.
The first named hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic season is here and making history. Beryl is now an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 130 miles per hour as it churns toward the Caribbean.
We're forecasting rapid intensification and expecting Beryl to become a major hurricane before it reaches places like Barbados and the Windward Islands.
Beryl is now the earliest Category 4 hurricane on record in the Atlantic Ocean and the only Category 4 storm ever recorded in the month of June. The early timing of the season's first hurricane is unusual, given the average date for the first hurricane is early to mid-August.
It is because these ocean temperatures are incredibly warm. We're talking about ocean temperatures in the middle and upper 80s. This is fuel and food for those hurricanes, and that's what allows them to rapidly intensify.
Tropical storm force winds are expected to reach the Windward Islands late Sunday or early Monday. Hurricane warnings are in effect for multiple Caribbean islands, and residents there should be prepared for major storm impacts.
It's not just from the wind perspective. We're expecting a very dangerous, life-threatening storm surge of 5 to 7 feet above normal tide levels, nearer to the right of where the center passes through those islands with large and destructive waves. Also expecting 3 to 6 inches of rainfall. So a very dangerous situation unfolding.
Grenada's government has already declared a state of emergency effective Sunday evening in anticipation of the hurricane's arrival. I'm Rob Kirkpatrick reporting.
The island of St. Lucia is in a national shutdown as businesses and schools remain closed and the public is urged to stay indoors. Coming up, we're going to meet a woman known as the Cicada Lady for her obsession with those loud insects. A woman in Illinois is already counting down to 2041 because she can't wait for the drone of 17-year cicadas to fill her front yard again. She admits she's more than a little bug obsessed. Noel Brennan introduces us to the Cicada Lady.
Suddenly, summer sounds less noisy in North Aurora, Illinois.
They were loud enough that you could hear them a few blocks away.
A shower would usually stir them.
I'm not hearing anything.
But Bettina Saylor accepts the fact all the cicadas
Zero.
are gone.
It's kind of sad.
There used to be more than a few.
Yeah, 6,504 cicadas, which I counted by hand. There were 18 different trips by 3 different people.
She brought thousands of cicadas home to a netted sanctuary she built in the now shin-high grass of her front yard.
Obviously, it's been growing.
Her crabapple trees are full of tiny cicada eggs.
So those are actual eggs right there.
Now that the cicadas are gone, it's time to mow the lawn and wait for eggs to hatch.
And hopefully populate this area 17 years from now.
A wild idea, but Tina tried once before.
June 19, 2007, Kane County Chronicle. Front page, baby. Cicadas abuzz in North Aurora. Family brings some home. And we brought back 900 cicadas, let them loose in the backyard.
You could call her an amateur researcher, a citizen scientist,
With her ovipositor.
or obsessed.
So I got this from a wonderful person online. They're actual cicada wings from this year. This is my little cicada army. Cicada keychain from like the 1980s. Very hot collector item.
Clearly, cicadas don't make her skin crawl.
No, I let them crawl on my skin.
She loves them so much,
And you can see the wings coming up.
she preserves them in ink
These are frozen cicadas.
and inside her freezer.
These are the ones that I found in Springfield.
Admittedly,
All right.
Bettina doesn't share the same affection for any other bug.
Kiss a cicada. See?
But to her,
Isn't it pretty?
the cicada is like 1 in a billion.
Even deceased, it's pretty.
Yeah, she kissed that cicada. That is our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a Humboldt penguin chick at the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago. Let's make it a great tomorrow.